GI Griffin here, back on another Advisor Insight lecture. This one is going to be on why smart people fail. I want to touch on the real reasons as to why intelligent people fail to produce like actual results despite having knowledge, ability, and the potential to do so. I want to kind of dive into like the psychology and the behavioral patterns that is messing up their execution. Overthinking is going to be one of the big ones, as well as emotional instability under pressure, avoidance disguised as preparation, and the addiction to comfort and stimulation. Right. So we're going to break down all of these and really touch on why do smart people fail. First up, you already know intelligence alone does not mean success. Right. If you really look at some of the most, and let's be honest, let's be real about it. If you look at some of the most successful people, a lot of them, you're like, they're not that bright. Right. It doesn't require intelligence to make a lot of money. That's not the particular skill set that it requires to actually do so. Intelligence allows you to make smarter decisions only if you can actually execute them. Will it get you results? And that's the big hang up that we're going to be really breaking down is just because you can analyze the situation or come up with the answer or whatever it is, you need to be able to bring about a result in reality. That's the big hang up, right? And that requires a different skill set other than intelligence alone. So knowledge without execution, it changes nothing. It does nothing, right? Smart people will often fail for psychological and behavioral reasons, not just intellectual ones. So let's break down some of the patterns here that lead smart people to failing. They confuse intelligence with competence, right? You're smart, but can you actually make it happen? Do you know how to make it happen? Do you know the variables or the pitfalls, liabilities, the threats, all of the things that you need to know in order to produce a successful result? A lot of times that takes experience. People today are so focused on information, knowledge. Let me get more of how do I do this, or what information do I need to know, or what tricks or hacks. That doesn't give you the experience on how to do it to get a result. It requires experience. A lot of people discount that. Right? Myself, a lot of the things that I learned that were really critical to my success had to do with like my mentors. They had experience. They said, hey, I know you think the industry works like this, but it actually works like this. And that provided me the ultimate shortcut to be able to bypass what the internet was saying, what everyone else was saying, and get down to the very simple, this is how it works, this is how you get results, and then do exactly that. Another pattern that comes up is overthinking, right? What they call analysis paralysis, right? Overthinking, constantly thinking, no execution. Let me re-strategize, let me adjust that, no execution. Using research, planning, and preparation to avoid action. That's a fear response. They're trying to control their world. If I can only figure out more information and really get to the source of this, I can control my world. And psychologically, that goes back to feeling unsafe. But that's a whole other thing. We're not going to get into that. Also, reacting emotionally under pressure instead of actually staying stable. Just because you're intelligent does not mean you have the emotional intelligence to be able to regulate your emotions or know what's needed or do what's needed. A lot of people might have intelligence and ego issues, and they actually don't feel good inside. So they use intelligence to cover up that fact, right? So just because you're super intelligent, especially when it's in a particular area, does not mean that you have the emotional abilities, right, and emotional stability to handle that thing in reality. And it leads to a lot of people trying to avoid, like for emotional discomfort, creating avoidance, and they're trying to reach comfort first over disciplined action and disciplined execution that gets you a result. It's a topic that comes up on these lectures a lot about people trying to get comfort over a result. That makes you feel good. That doesn't make you do better. It doesn't produce an outcome. It doesn't actually make your life better. And it's also temporary. versus long-term adjustments. One of the last patterns I want to touch on is seeking stimulation instead of consistency. This one's a tough one, right? Consuming information constantly, but producing very little. For an intelligent person, it's fun to learn. It's fun. It's exciting. It may even be relaxing. Oh, okay, learning this. Okay, I'm doing that. It feels like progress, but you didn't actually produce something. So in reality, you still need to produce something in order to actually get a result that benefits you. Right? That is what we're talking about for why smart people fail. It's a lot of thinking and not enough action. So let's break down some of the consequences of taking that approach versus actually getting some of the actions going. The most obvious, well, underperformance. Not actually doing what you need to do, despite having a high capability. You have tons of potential, but you don't actually put it towards anything, right? So that may lead to you not getting the promotion that you want, you not hitting your marks at work or within your career, you not being able to build your business and to where it can actually sustain your livelihood, right? Underperformance, despite having tons of capability. Another consequence, missed opportunities, which I just talked about. Delayed progress. That promotion could have been yours had you actually executed and got the results you need to get for you and your team in that particular business, your job, despite the fact that you felt you knew the answer. Cool, you know the answer. So what are you going to do about it? Right? You need to be able to execute on that. You need to be able to get a result. Also, frustration. That's it. Any intelligent people, at least this part, you're like, yeah, definitely get that. A lot of frustration from knowing more than other people, but producing worse results. Despite the fact that you know the answer, you know the solution, you know the strategy, and you know what needs to be done, still can't get the results that other people are getting. Why are they moving ahead? Why are they making more money? Why are they more successful? Why do they have the things that they want? Usually because they're more focused on the action. See, intelligence is a double-edged sword because it gives you the ability to kind of think things through and understand things a bit more. But if that's all you do, you work that muscle, but you didn't work the muscle of being able to actually go out and do something, execute. It kind of doesn't matter. So you need to balance that. You need to understand that, hey, what matters most is me actually getting a result. I need to use my intelligence as a tool to do that, not as the main thing by itself. Another consequence, loss of confidence, self-trust over time. People losing confidence within themselves because for some reason they can't get ahead. I'm doing all the thinking, I'm figuring it all out, but I still can't get ahead. You know what it feels like? Wasted talent, wasted years, wasted potential. They're trapped in cycles of thinking instead of building something. Right? And I understand that portion in terms of feeling like my wasted potential, right? But you have to put it towards something. And I will give you a heads up. Part of that is understanding where you fit. Where is an area where I can put my intelligence towards that does benefit me? A lot of intelligent people are in the wrong environment and they struggle because of it. It's not necessary. Find an environment that fits you. So let's break down some of the solutions that you can actually do to change the situation. You don't want to fail. You feel you're intelligent. You don't want to fail. Okay. Well, here's some steps, some things you can do for that. Start executing. Start getting out there, making some action. Do something, right? You had your time to think in the beginning. That's the great thing about it, is that it has a time for it. Strategize. Get the strategy down on paper. Okay, step by step, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to do it. Then do it. This is why I have a project management system that essentially runs my life and runs my business. It tells me this is what you need to do for today, and this is how you execute it. How it was built was I took the time to analyze the situation, then build a strategy. Okay, that's the intelligence part. Done. The strategy is built in my project management system. Now it tells me every single day, these are the things you need to do. Do I need to keep analyzing it? No, we've already done that. Have confidence within your intelligence, and then go ahead and execute one by one, step by step, as my grandpa would always tell me. Discipline beats intellect when it's applied consistently. All right. So if you just keep working at it, you're consistent in that, you keep pushing, you're going to beat whoever it is in terms of like, they're very intelligent, but they're not consistent. You're definitely going to beat them, right? Because they fall into that perfect trap of trying to be perfect. You need to act before you feel fully ready sometimes. Sometimes it's just time to go. This is especially true when you have a brand or you have a business. Things don't always go according to plan. Things aren't ready sometimes. You may not have the resources sometimes. Guess what? You got to go do it anyways. Push forward. Take that leap. Understand that, hey, I'm going in, a little blind, a little uncertainty, but at the same time, I still need to get this done. Let's go and do it. And this goes directly to what I'm going to talk about next for another solution, which is emotional regulation and discomfort tolerance. It's critical for high performance. If you can't tolerate the discomfort of, one, the uncertainty, two, of having to act on these things and push and just knock it out anyways, and then adapt real time, you're not going to be successful in that regard. It is required. I challenge everyone to do little emotional regulation and discomfort tolerance techniques or little challenges each day. Get a little better at that. You get a little more comfortable with discomfort. Okay, it doesn't bother me as much. It's not affecting my life. You start regulating your emotions. You know what? I'm in these very high pressure situations or chaotic situations, but I'm still calm. I can still execute. That right there alone will lead to your success if you can do that and everyone else around you cannot. Emotional regulation. You already know I'm big on that. Also, simplify your decisions, right? Reduce the over analysis or analysis paralysis. A lot of times you can have the perfect strategy, but if no one can do it, it's kind of pointless. So keep it as simple as possible so that it can be done well. Right? Stop trying to appear intelligent and start building real capability. I want you to hear this next part. The world pays for results, not intentions. Doesn't matter what your intention was. What matters is, what did you do? What action did you take? What result did you get? That is what the world pays attention to. So just to touch on what we covered here, right? Being smart is not enough. It's not enough. Intelligence without execution or action becomes just frustration. You'll be so frustrated, right? With either your situation, the lack of success, or the world, which turns into resentment and bitterness. The trap for a lot of intelligent people. Been there, I get it. But you got to move beyond it in order to actually improve your life. The world rewards people who consistently act, adapt, and build. It's just the reality of your environment. You live in the world, and that's essentially what the world is, right? Who acted, who adapted, who built something that mattered. That's what it rewards. So use your intelligence to push in that area and produce a result in that area for yourself. And the last thing that I'll leave you with, your intelligence is only valuable if it produces results. Oftentimes, this is critical, for other people. We live in a world with other people. Doing something that was awesome is cool, but people may not pay you for it. They may not, reward you for it. They may not push you forward for it. They may not support you for it. But if it's valuable to other people, now you have their support. So if I was going to give intelligent people one thing, like I gave you plenty here, obviously take action, right? Main thing here. But the other thing is, be of value to other people. That's how you win. That's how you reach that success as a smart person or intelligent person, right? And it's the same thing that my mentors taught me and that I did with them. Wanted to make sure that I was of value. And because of that, they put me in situations where I could flourish. So this is GI here on another Advisor Insight lecture. Make sure you guys go and join my Insight Brief, a little newsletter that I have here where I deliver these insights directly to you, right? And also on the website, you'll see on there, if you're looking for kind of a diagnostic in terms of your situation, like, hey, how can I improve? Hey, how can I fix this? Hey, my brand's doing that. You'll find that on there as well. So GI here, I'm out.